How's it going, Spiggle heads? Hopefully you're doing good. You might be wondering, hey, why is a sentient me talking to you? Well, my name is Gab. I'm part of Spiggle. You might also know me as Curbazoid here on YouTube. I stream and I do a lot of game-related content, so if you want to check me out, that's how. Me and Hunter, another member of Spiggle, wanted to do a co-op thing where we wanted to talk about movies. We love movies and we like to see movies together every now and then, and one of the things we did is we watched Boogeyman and we talked about it over on my monthly video game and movie podcast, The Curbacast, which you can find the link to the Spotify and YouTube version of that podcast in the description if you want to check it out. I would greatly appreciate it. But I decided, since it is technically a co-op thing that I have done with Hunter, I figured we might as well just upload that segment to Spiggle just so that you can see the kind of content that we're maybe thinking about doing in the future. So any comments about what you think about this, and if you would like to see some content similar to this where we talk about a movie or a certain topic and just upload it to this channel, whether it be on my podcast or literally anything else, let us know in the comments, because genuinely we would like to do more of this. And so if you have any tips, suggestions, or things you want us to talk about, let us know. But yeah, I'm just gonna get you right to it. Please let it be known I apologize in advance for talking over Hunter so much, but granted, it was my podcast. I wasn't I have a very big main character problem. Yeah. Hello.
Hello, my friend.
Hello. So, the Boogeyman. He's scary. He's spooky. It's, I'm impressed that I'm saying his name right now. I'm shaking in my boots. It's a scary guy. Also, for the record, for those that don't know, this is my good friend Hunter. We've known each other since about 7th grade, middle school, so it's been a hot second of knowing each other. But yeah, one of my best friends.
Indeed.
And yeah, together we saw The Boogeyman, which is a horror movie based on a Stephen King novel that released in 2023. So Hunter, I'm gonna throw the ball at you. Would you like to summarize the movie just like real fast, like no like end game stuff, just kind of like what the movie's about?
Yeah. So let's see. The Boogeyman.
The Boogie.
The gist of the movie was the Boogeyman is scary, and I think it manifests itself in people's lives by if parents aren't watching their kids or not paying attention to their kids, that sort of idea.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna go ahead and just say I thought the movie was just okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it didn't stick out in my head that much.
That's fair. Yeah, and you had a very interesting point that I'd like to kind of discuss, because I've been thinking about this point that you've been talking about ever since the movie, but kind of just to get people to understand just a bit more. The Boogeyman, so like Hunter said, it's a scary guy, and the whole idea is that it is a creature that lives in the darkness. Like, it's the only way that it can survive is in the darkness, and that's why I have all my lights on, because I don't want the fucking Boogeyman to come to me, you know? But apparently the Boogeyman, it's it comes to families that are dealing with trauma or something, or they're struggling families, and then it'll kill yeah, so essentially children when they're not watched by parents, it'll mimic the voice of the parent, and it'll lure the kid so it can kill them in the dark, essentially. And so the whole plot of this movie is that there is a family. The mother of the family died. It's not a spoiler. It's just that's the whole the whole plot of the family is that the mom of the family died, and they're all dealing with the loss. It's relatively new, and so they're trying to keep living, and they're still in the process of grieving. There are 2 daughters and a dad, and so they're just trying to live life. And then out of nowhere, this guy comes. And he's like, you gotta help me. The dad's a psychologist, and it's a home office or something. So the guy goes and he's like, you gotta help me. The fucking Boogeyman's after me. He doesn't say that, but he's like, yeah, someone killed my wife and kids. They try to explain the Boogeyman, and then Boogeyman essentially kills, and then so the Boogeyman gets transferred over to this new family of the two girls and their dad. And so now it's just them kind of figuring out, holy shit, this thing is real, and also just kind of like them dealing with it in a way. But
yeah,
it's just, I mean, I agree with it being like a I personally would give it a 3 out of 5, because I personally really loved the family dynamic, but I mean, outside of that, it was okay.
Yeah, I will say it was really fun to watch. It was an exciting movie, and it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint my thoughts on it exactly because I'm not that big of a horror movie person.
No,
I've
me
only
too.
just recently gotten more into that.
Same.
Yeah.
There were like now that I'm thinking about it, there were 2 points that I remember when we walked out of the theater. So the older daughter is like teenager, like I'd say junior to senior in high school, somewhere along those lines. And so like there's this weird like side drama where essentially she has a best friend, but the best friend also has other friends, and the other friends are bullies and they're assholes.
And the best friend is portrayed by someone from one of the girls from Bizarre Park.
Yeah.
The one that's not.
What are you gonna say?
The other one, you know how one of them went on to become like a pop star?
No, okay.
Like Olivia Rodrigo or something?
Yeah, no, I thought you were gonna say the one that isn't hot. I thought that was where you were going.
No. Yeah, leave Olivia Rodrigo. And then there's the other one. The one that is destined to be an actor for like mid movies.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, the thing is like, it's cool that they try to do it, but like, it is so obvious that they are just doing it because it's in the book, probably because this is based on a book. It's based on like a Stephen King book, and so from what I can tell, it really feels like they were just like, yes, it's the girl and the friends that are bullies. Again, we don't know how the fucking book goes, so we're basing this
I was
purely off the movie.
Like, I would definitely be more interested in reading the book now because
maybe
I enjoy Stephen King. I've read a couple of his books. I love like Pet Sematary.
That one's
that's a good one.
Pet Sematary 2 is fucking weird.
Oh,
the movie is bizarre.
Short story. The Boogeyman is based on a short story by Stephen King.
Interesting. So maybe there wasn't a lot to go off of. So that probably explains why the Boogeyman parts are good and then the other parts are mid as fuck. But so yeah, the bullying is just like, it kind of like exists, and then like the end of the movie, it just like it's like nothing even happens to them. They're just no longer a part of the story. Like they exist, they create drama, and then they just leave, and then are never spoken about for the rest of the movie. I kind of wish they went into it more, but also it was like so mid that I kind of didn't care.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought they really built it up. Like the only main thing that happened with the conflict was the main girl has a friend group, and like 2 of them are essentially just filler characters with zero purpose whatsoever. And then there's the one that's her best friend, and the one that's like the mean girl.
She's
archetype.
just the bitch. Like that's just it. That's the whole character.
They kind of build it up to a point where like throughout the movie she's kind of like bullied by this mean girl character, and it all culminates into her getting bitch slapped, and that's it.
And that's
she gets slapped and
she
runs
gets like
out.
slapped across the face.
Like,
and it's like it's not that it's like they really like sold it as like, oh, she's gonna get fucking murdered by the Boogeyman. But then like it leads to nothing, and then like the nothing characters go, and then the best friend, I thought the best friend would like do something at the end. It's not really spoilery, but it's just like, like all of the main like the main girl, like her friends, they're just gone. Something else that I think is interesting about this movie is like, again, Stephen King really never did a lot of bloody stuff. He only did it when it was like poignant, like with Pet Sematary. It's like the whole point is like, it's not really a gory movie, but it's like it's dead kids and dogs, and it's like a death that happens once, and then that sets off the events of the book and the story.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it is its own different thing, but because it is straight up like a fucking murder clown. That's what it is. But with this one, it's like there's almost no deaths. I think it's only like the one death to be like, this is what the boogeyman is, and then I think there was only 2 kills in the boogeyman. I think one of my this isn't really a I mean, it's kind of, this happens in the movie, but it's super funny, and I hate that it's funny. There's a scene where the younger girl, she's playing, we were trying to figure this out, she plays like a fucking PS4 game, and we were trying to figure out what game it is, and I don't think it exists. I think it's just a game that they just like made for the sake of the movie, and it ends with like her using the flash to like determine where the monster is because of like the flashing that happens in the game, which is interesting. I think that's cool. But then it and that goes into like another thing that you said about the movie, but it ends. I hate that this is funny, but it ends with her like she's like fucking like a Jurassic Park raptor, like it's fucking going around and it's like searching for her, and she like looks around, and then it finally is like, it's right behind me, and then it ends with a scene where the girl just fucking is flown into a TV, where like she like fucking like goes and she like she gets thrown onto a TV, and I hate that that's funny because then it leads to her getting hospitalized. But it looked like it was a fucking like Gmod thing where you like threw a character into a TV.
It's kind of weird how the kills worked. Like, I don't understand how she didn't die.
Yeah.
Like, why does the boogeyman just throw her, where one of the other deaths, like the guy who was seeking mental help from the main father, was
one of
hung.
the only kill. Yeah, he made it. Yeah, the boogeyman used it to stage it as like I guess that was just like so that he could use it to make it like traumatizing, so that he can then like transfer over to them. But I don't know. Oh, also, I think it is only like 3. I think there's 3 total kills in this movie. I don't know how long it is. Maybe 90 minutes. Maybe. I think it was like an hour 20 something.
All right. Before we go too far past this, I just found a Reddit post of someone asking for what game is played in the Boogeyman.
You're
and
kidding.
Apparently, it's a game called The Pathless.
The Path. I've never heard of that. Yeah, I've never heard of that, which is kind of cool.
But
if
it
it's like
looks
an
like
indie
the game.
Okay.
It is the game.
That is impressive. Well, there you go. We've uncovered something.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. Thanks, Reddit.
Developed by Giant Squid and published by Annapurna Interactive.
Annapurna sounds so familiar. Huh.
I'll be the Google warrior.
Google it, my warrior. I was gonna say, thank God that's like one of the only subreddits that isn't private right now. I had to look up something, and then I had like that one thing where it's like, oh, I can't look it up because all the Reddits are privated. I forget what he was even for at this point, but I think it was something to do with. Genuinely, I can't remember.
Annapurna, they published Outer Wilds.
Yo, that game is
That's
so
the only one I
fucking
recognize.
good though. That game is sick. I still need to play that. That is very much like an
Stray.
The
cat
Whoa, interesting. Okay. Okay. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm just gonna go to the other thing that
movies
about the movie. We kind of see what the monster is. It's definitely like an ambiguous, like, this is the like it's just supposed to be like a formless creature, kind of like it's just supposed to be scary.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one time we see it, it just looks like a wrinkly man, like a
it's your typical like rake type horror monster.
It's like a golem like skin, like you see the ribs kind of monster, but it's just like long limbs and stuff. It looked cool. I mean, I don't have any strong opinions on it. It didn't look bad, but I couldn't tell you what it looked like though. I did think it was kind of cool whenever the monster is like taking hold of a house, or like essentially taking over for the family. No, I remember I was talking about the kills, but essentially the monster, when it takes hold of a house, there's like these black roots that kind of take root in the house. That looked kind of cool. I've seen that like a million times in horror movies, but it's still cool.
Stranger Things.
Oh, that looked with like the upside down kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the kills that happen in the movie, this monster. So the reason it killed that man in that way, I guess, was just like to like transfer over to like take hold of like this new family. Because we find out, just like there are other members of that guy's family that survive, and they essentially are now like the info dump of like how the monster works to the main character. But yeah, like in the beginning, like when he was talking to the therapist, he was like, yeah, this fucking monster like essentially sucked the ass out of one of my kids or something like that. He sucked the life out of him. And that was like the whole thing. And then it never does that in the movie, and we never even get to see like the aftermath of it. And I don't know, man. It looked cool though. I mean, it's fine. It was just like a very like, it's a horror movie and you watch it and you don't really feel anything afterwards. I will admit, during like the beginning, there was like some really creative parts where like the light part with the therapy. I'm not going to go too much into that, but I felt like that was a really cool like creative way of doing the monster and the attack, or like how like the monster works. I thought that was cool. And then
with the red flashing,
like like the flashing light that the therapist uses. It's in the trailer if you want to look it up, but it's, again, for those that kind of want to go into this movie as blind as possible, if this even remotely interests you, I'd recommend it. It's a fun like movie to just kind of, definitely is like, it's a mid movie. It's not bad, but it's just like, it's passable. Like
I would say
it's a movie.
If you're someone who like isn't that into horror movies, it might be worth seeing on
like
the basis
a good starting
of, like,
point.
It's not that scary. It's not gory at all.
Oh no. And yeah, and it's like the two kills that actually happen in the movie, like they're not gory in the slightest. And I think even the one where it's like actively killing someone, it's like flashing the lights every now and then, so you like barely even see what's going on anyway. Yeah, dude, Dead Meat James, I don't know what the fuck he would say. I don't think he said anything about this movie, now that I think about it. That's how I get most of my horror movie content, and I don't think he said a damn thing about this. The last thing that I want to talk about, because I found it interesting, since it was based on a novel by Stephen King, do you have the date on when that short story came out?
Yeah, 1978.
Okay, so especially that. And again, now that I think about it, if it is a short story, maybe the people were just idiots and they didn't even think about this. But I remember when we were leaving the theater, the biggest complaint you had, you were just like, yeah, she had a phone. Why the fuck didn't she use her flashlight? And like,
yeah.
And I mean, like, looking back on it, if he really can't, it seems like he can like avoid lights. It seems like he can like knock over lights, or he can turn them off. So hypothetically, I guess, why the protagonist never once thought of like, yeah, turning on their phone and flashing it just to even see if it would work. I don't get why that happened, but I guess technically if they did, the creature could just like swipe it or just go around where the flashlight isn't. But it's just like the idea of like flashlights, just like a flashlight in general, the fact that wasn't even like considered. Like they just used like Christmas lights and candles. And it's like flashlights existed, even if they are trying to be like, here's the thing, even if they were trying to be like, to the novel, you would think they would even like attempt to make it even remotely like, they use like audio recorders, and she even like uses a literal phone. Like it's weird. Because like at the very least, even like consider it. Even if you're trying to be faithful to a novel, it's just
Yeah.
I don't know.
When I watch a movie like that, and it's when you can kind of just point out how these characters aren't following the most logical course of action, and obviously that's not going to happen in every case, because that doesn't happen in real life, but it's something that kind of takes away the immersion for me.
Oh yeah.
Another thing that was kind of like that is they kind of somehow, I guess they just knew that the creature wouldn't go outside, but like they would go outside and assume they're safe even though they're still in the dark. Like I didn't fully understand the logic of
I never thought that too.
Infest homes, or if it was
guess
based on just the individuals.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I guess if it did like, roam the night, then I guess humanity would just be fucking dead at this point. I've got no clue. But it definitely, it's like, I guess if that was the case, but it really feels like with the root idea, it needs to like take root in a house that's suffering a tragedy. I think that's what's implied, but definitely it doesn't really like, with all the explaining that they do in this movie, it's impressive that they don't even explain that. It's weird, like they explain too much. I feel like they go like the one thing that they make sure that they drill into your fucking skull is that this monster lives in dark, no like light. That is what they're just like, that's the monster, that's what it is. And I guess they either they don't expect you to think too much about it, or they didn't care enough to explain literally everything else about this monster. I don't know. It's weird though. But
For sure.
It's just like, in general, it's an okay movie. Definitely when I was going into this, I was like, yeah, I remember enjoying the movie. It was pretty good. And again, I think just the main character and the family dynamic, it was good. I think the main like trio of the two daughters and the dad, I think that was what I enjoyed the most out of the movie. And even at the end when, you know, they faced the boogeyman, you know, it was good. It was good. I definitely, I remember like getting ready to tell you like, man, here's the thing. Most of the movie until like the very end, the dad is almost like never utilized, which I felt like was such a wasted opportunity. Even if you are trying to stay true to the novel, give the dad more screen time because he's a fucking therapist. And he, you know, they like kind of go into the idea. It's like they never really dive deep into that or even try to like explore like, how would a therapist tackle a fucking monster? Like the struggling of, you know, what you've taught and what you've like, you know, you're meant to like learn and help like fix human brains essentially. And now like there's this monster that fucking is based off of like, it feeds off of tragedy and stuff. And you're not even going to like try once to even explore that. It's just like, it's a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, about the dad, his main arc is that he like refuses to talk about the mother's death with the children. Like he just kind of bottles everything up. And I think that's, you know, that's probably the reason why the boogeyman is happening.
I guess
it's very, I thought it was very surface level.
It is, because it really was just like the very easy like takeaway of, oh look, the therapist, it's a therapist, but he doesn't talk about his feelings. And then like I just wish they did more with it, man, because I thought the idea of like a therapist in a horror movie would be very interesting. Maybe that's just me, but I think that's just like such a cool idea that I wish they just did more of. I wish they did more with it, because it really is like 50, I'd say it's like 50% the teen girl, 30 to 40% the younger girl, and then like 10% the dad, maybe 20%.
I guess the whole point being the boogeyman, I didn't expect too much of anything special from it. Yeah, it's like the boogeyman is such a timeless, just, you know, it's not one set thing, it's just a generic word for a spooky monster. It lives in your closet. It's what kids are scared of. I feel like it did kind of live up to that.
Yeah, I mean, like, even the very premise of the monster is like very basic. So it's like, I mean, overall, it's just like a very basic horror movie, but I feel like, and it's what I said about Vampire Survivors when I was talking about that, where it's like, it's very, you know, if you're really looking for something like really in-depth, kind of not, I mean, Vampire Survivors is like, it's an amazing game, but like, it's kind of like, it's very basic in design. So if you want something a lot more, like like in depth, or a little more, what's the fucking word I'm trying to think of? A little more complex. That's the word. If you want something a little more complex, I would recommend first trying this out and then seeing if that's something you want to like then do a deep dive into, like a more complex kind of thing. Because overall, I think I still enjoyed the movie. It's just that it's not anything to write home about. Like, not in a long shot.
Yeah. I think we should. I would definitely be down to watch more movies.
I agree.
Do more episodes like this, because I think there are better fit movies for this kind of discussion.
I still we've been talking about the Boogeyman for like 25 minutes, so I mean, I think anything will work as long as it leaves
I feel like we're just dunking on it too much, but it's not like we hate it.
No, and by no means movie. Do I think it's a bad movie. It's just, it's fine. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, hell, I was wanting to do this originally with Renfield when I talked about it on the first episode, because I was like, yeah, Hunter, if you're listening, we need to do this next time. And for those who don't know, because I'm fucking calling you out live, Hunter consistently has been wanting to do anything remotely similar to podcasts for literal months. We originally actually, when we you used to run a YouTube channel. I've talked about Spiggle, our group channel that we kind of do every like once in a blue moon, but that was originally based off of a very old meme channel that you ran with a bunch of your old friends called Spiffle. And I remember at the time when I was starting off on YouTube, and I was actually starting off on podcasting for the first time, I was going to help produce a Spiffle podcast. Is it Spiffle? Yeah. Sorry, I'm so used to Spiggle now that Spiffle has just been erased from my memory. But yeah, I remember we tried to do a Spiffle podcast, and really all I remember is that you were the only one that was actually, of like our friend group, that was actually even putting some amount of effort into trying to like make this a listenable like experience. So it was very fun being able to talk to you, of course. And so yeah, no, definitely if we watch another movie, you're more than welcome, and probably people that are listening to this. I mean, dude, you'd be impressed. The fucking videos, I'm getting requests now, like almost every time I do a bonus stream, they're like, are you doing it with friends? And I'm like, I mean, I guess I can. So, I mean, you and all the others are like, I guess it's just nice. It's nice to like include my friends into the stuff I do, because it's, you know, it's cool. Because yeah, I never really get to talk. You know, when we hang out, I normally never get to talk about this, but then when you're on my field, I get to talk about whatever the fuck I want, so it's great. No, but genuinely, I really appreciate it. One thing I want to do before you go, since this is a podcast where I talk about games, movies, and like random news, I want to know, out of the past like month or a few months or whatever, recently, what has been your favorite game and movie that you have seen recently? It can be a game you've revisited. It can be a game you're still playing. Whatever it may be. Like, what is your current fix?
Okay, I'm gonna start with movie because I'm not much of a movie person, but I have been trying to watch more movies in general. And I've watched a few on my own. And the most recent one I watched is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
I was so ready. I was so ready for you to say The Secret Life of Pets. I was so okay, but I've never heard of that. Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I'm gonna pull up an image just for myself because
it's really good. And I will not say spoilers because I went into this movie blind and it was amazing.
2013 film.
But the gist is, it's a guy who's like, he's unsatisfied with his life, but you know, it's kind of a motivational type movie.
No,
just like a really heartwarming story.
It's the same guy. I forget this guy's name, but the actor of this guy,
Mr. Popper's Penguins or something.
Okay, that's not his name.
It's familiar.
That's not his name.
But is he the guy from that?
No, it's Ben Stiller. It's the voice of. I think it is. But the reason I know him is Night at the Museum. But most importantly, Alex the Lion from Madagascar, which I can almost say word for word, not fully, but. That's how I know.
Jim Carrey.
No, Ben Stiller. No, it's not. Mr. Pop.
It is. According to Google.
Oh God. Okay, wait. No, now
I don't know. I've always been really bad at like actors.
2011. Oh my God, it was. Holy shit, it was. I thought it was Ben Stiller this entire time. Damn, that's like late. Jim Carrey too. Damn, that's insane. So, okay, that's interesting. I'm definitely going to have to look that up. So what was the name again?
The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Okay, so Walter Mitty. And then what game recently has been like your current like addiction, or what just seems neat that you want to shout out?
Honestly, probably Everhood.
Oh.
I haven't finished it yet, but I just got to the point where everything kind of like, again, gonna say this without spoilers because did you get all the door pieces? Yeah.
Okay, so
I got to the point where it's the real premise of the game is kind of revealed.
Okay.
And you're like,
I want to know.
Okay.
I want to know one thing. So everybody for those that don't know, Everhood is fucking amazing. I made a full video about like the first few hours of like getting all the door pieces and how fucking awesome that is. But there's also a full stream that you can find over on my second channel, Curve Plus, that I don't use, but still, check it out. I have playlist, whatever. So good. One of the best. It's my second favorite game of that I played in 2022. It came out in like 2019, I think. They announced a sequel, which I'm so fucking excited for. But just for those that still don't know, I'm gonna say, are you committing to let's just say the the happy route or the uh-oh route? Let's just say that in terms of like what you think you're gonna do.
I don't know yet because honestly, I can't figure out what the different routes are.
Okay, so essentially,
And that's
the jewels are a different route. You do like don't worry about the jewels. That's New Game Plus. If you really want to worry about that, that's like a unique ending, very difficult to get, or difficult in a sense. The other two endings are if you decide to commit to the task that you're given by the frog, or not doing that.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I figured there are multiple paths, but it's kind of like
Just make sure you save before you even do anything close to that. Make sure you save on a separate slot. That way you can go back to it.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm going to
did
say.
that. The game tells you,
Thank
like, oh,
you.
you should have multiple save
That way you can
slots.
like do either one. The one where you don't do it is faster. That's all I'm going to say if you want to like experience all the endings in a faster manner, but I'm not going to say anything because definitely when I chose the one I did it was one of the coolest like, oh fuck, like moments I've ever had in a video game. Again, like if we're talking about like overall video game like as an experience, Everhood is number one. And I cannot wait for the sequel because apparently I'm worried about the sequel real fast. I'm going to say this real fast. They announced a sequel and you know all like the colored notes and stuff. It seems like what they're doing is they're only doing red, green, and blue. And so you know the combat is grab two of the same color and then use it to attack. That's the whole point. You can choose a soul style in this game where you can choose red, green, or blue, and then that is the only color note that you can absorb and then throw back. That sounds interesting, but I'm worried that it's gonna make a different game. Because I liked the creativity they used in all the different colors. And like having to manage like having to get two of like one specific color in like the mess of all the colors. That's fun. So I'm worried that this is gonna make it a little too simple in a sense. But I mean, I won't know until the game comes out, which I'm gonna buy regardless. But still, very interested. I've held you on way longer than I originally thought, so thank you so much, Hunter. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to me. But yeah, the fucking Boogeyman was so like it's a fine movie, but it was so forgettable. We talked about literally anything else. But yeah, check out Everhood, please, and Walter Mitty. Check him out.
Oh yes.
Yeah. But yeah.
If you want a feel-good movie, Walter Mitty, like sit down. It's not necessarily a tearjerker, but it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Just watch it. You're doing yourself a favor.
Doing yourself a favor. That's going to be it for this. We're going to be heading over, or at least, I know it's a transition, so bear with me, Hunter. We're going to be transferring over to all of the random news, and this is me after recording everything else for the podcast. Get ready for like 30 minutes of just pure raw anger. I'm talking about the Blizzard drama and the Persona 3 stuff. Oh my god, it is. Get ready for that. I'm just going to warn you in advance. Okay.
Okay, wait. Can I just say, we don't have to talk about this, and you can also edit this out if you want. But I was so prepared for you to just say submarine.
Oh, fuck off. No, I'm not.
Submarine.
No, we're not talking about the submarine. I'm not saying it.